So good afternoon, everyone. My name is João Cotter. I'm the aquatic production specialist for Food for Sustainability. Welcome all the members of the audience to the second webinar of the second series of Food for Sustainability webinars dedicated to sustainable soilless farming. Today we are going to talk about vertical farming today and tomorrow.
So I'll share some thoughts. Again, I don't represent any technology companies, or I don't represent any farming companies. As a consultant, I advise a whole range of farming types across the spectrum. And so we are tech agnostic, which means that we don't sell equipment, and we can sort of talk about things in a different way because we don't have an incentive to say one way is better than the other. We believe in sort of looking at the context and considering your options. Our mission is to accelerate the adaptation to climate change. So when I was a young student thinking about climate change and how I could make a difference, I actually found through my research that I was quite pessimistic about our ability to mitigate climate change. And I felt that I could make a bigger difference focusing on adapting to climate change and the inevitability that our climate is changing. And some of the issues we're facing today are due to emissions that were put into the environment 10 years earlier. So we have at least 10 years of suffering, even if we stopped our impact overall. So that's why we're focused on adaptation, and we try to do that through data and methodology and an unparalleled global network. And this is our global network. I mean, these are clients we've worked with across the world so far. And so what does that mean? That means that as an organization, we have a unique understanding of the market conditions in all of these different places, from island states to hot desert countries to cold regions to very big urban environments, to even developing countries where you might not expect some of these controlled environment systems to be present.
So I'll run through. Well, thank you very much for having me. It's great to be on this with so many illustrious other speakers. So yeah, I'll just go through a bit about what we do at Saturn. So essentially, we started actually around about the same time as Henry. In fact, I have a funny feeling I may have spoken to him about 10 years ago, sometime around then. And we're focused on essentially, on delivering appropriate technology. It's very much our focus. So we look at, we work very closely with farmers, and our sort of central philosophy is how do we increase the productivity of existing farms, if you like, as well as potentially new farms. But essentially, we focus on that, and we look at that by using hydroponic science and technology. Now, in terms of the sort of hard side of what we do, we are very much driven by fast payback systems. Where we can. Whether the user can generate a return on investment in a fairly short time scale. It tends to be a pretty insecure and unstable industry in terms of supply agreements. So relatively short time scale, we target typically 3 to 5 years return on investment.
So Aerofarm, I'm very pleased to be here. Great to talk to such an international group, which is fantastic and very much draws on my own experience having worked internationally. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Aerofarms here, if I can figure out how to advance on. Sorry, we're not a Zoom company much. There we go. So this is a chance for you to see a picture inside of our farm. I mean, we've been talking about vertical farming throughout the first hour or so of this conversation, and we are vertical farmers. We are vertical farmers in a fully controlled space. So you can see that we actually grow in levels. They go up from the ground quite high in an old steel manufacturing warehouse in Newark, New Jersey, which is just a few miles from the Newark airport if you've ever flown in and out of that to get into New York City. And you can see that the levels go, higher than the camera could go. So a little bit more about Aerofarms here and our history. We've actually been at this for 15 years. So we've been around for a long time. We have advanced our own model. We started small. like many do, and we learned more and more about how to do indoor growing. There weren't a lot of manuals, there weren't a lot of examples out there beyond glass houses for us to follow, but we used that first model to launch our first sales in leafy greens. We continue to update and optimize and move closer to commercial, and then we continue to scale as well. And in 2016, we opened the farm that you see there that I showed on the previous picture that is in Newark, New Jersey.